teacher, and she's my age, so she's been retired for a little bit. And after last week, can I join in January? Now, whether she sticks with it, I don't know.
Is she Marshall County Schools?
She has retired from Washington.
Oh, I'm just wondering if I had her.
No, because she's out of Sand Hill.
Oh, no, never mind.
That's way out there.
Yeah, it's a little too far up there.
She liked it out there.
That's out further than me.
But anyway, so that, when you see me, just share it so that people know about us. And Linda and I were talking about getting new members in, crazy times, and that's one way. Some people out there want to still be helpful, and we can give them that. So make sure they know we're here. And then just real quickly, grandparents, I need within the next couple of weeks to finish it. I'm still at 71 gifts. Somebody I think is going to leave you a check.
Okay.
Because I asked for the little kids' pictures, and Stacy said we can give them to her, so you know about our adopted grandparent, Becky. Okay, well, I buy a hand cream and a foot cream for Mary Kay, and the gift is $30. That pays for the hand cream. It's like you're buying a hand cream and foot cream. And then I take the profit from those and I buy stuff. So I get like a cute little stocking to put it in, and then we get candy and combs and brushes and chapstick.
Activity puzzles.
Yeah, word puzzles were big.
Oh, yeah, we did do that last year. We
but
backed up
different
over
stuff.
it.
The FRN, Human Resource Network, helps us too. They donate. Rotarians, we don't, as a club, we don't buy them, but most Rotarians buy responsibly for this one person. And then as a club, we get together, stuff the stockings, take them to local nursing homes, and people who are residents at the facilities that would not normally get a gift. Yeah. So this is the 6th year. Great. So it's pretty painless to do. Right. So that's our thing again. And I had somebody contact me from what they saw in a chamber newsletter. Her little 6-year-old wanted to be involved, and could he know who his grandma was? And so that has evolved into, but these people would love to get pictures made by a 6-year-old. So any kid that wants to do a picture can do a picture, drop it off to Stacy. Somebody messaged me and said, when we drop off our picture, can we drop off a check for a gift? Sure.
I'll take it.
Make it pay for me, give it, leave it, attention Stacy. And I contacted Kim Kane, the principal at Glendale, because we mentioned since we read to them, but we're not reading to them this year, they're still like our partners kind of. And she said, absolutely, they want to be involved. And so Glendale is going to make cards or pictures. And I told her, she said she'd get it to us, but I told her to just stop by and pick them up when they're ready. So that's really kind of like, every year there's something that happens, like you get this big, every year I think, I don't know if I can keep doing this, it's going to keep working. And every year I think that, and then it kind of explodes. So it's pretty exciting though, really. Somebody will be happy. Hopefully 100 people will be happy, but we've got a ways to go. I think we'll at least do 80 at this point.
Okay, 100 little animals.
I'm going for I think 100. Share it. No, it's on my Facebook. Share it to your friend. And I'd love to have 30 more.
Okay. The only other thing that I had, the chamber is having their tree or having our tree gala. It is being done virtually. This is all new to us. But there is it's actually, the preview night is tonight, and it will be aired on WTRF ABC tonight at 7. And we've shared, there's pictures of every tree and every wreath. And if you go to the MarshallCountyChamber.com, you can actually vote for your favorite wreath or tree. And yours truly made a wreath for the bank. So if you all would like to vote on my wreath,
Let me see, show.
it's the Baking
Awesome.
Spirits Bright.
Oh,
That's clever.
That's cute.
Oh, yeah.
So, but they are doing, we're gonna do the preview night tonight, like I said, on ABC. We're not sure how this is gonna go. But if you guys could tune in, wanna see the trees. Tomorrow, all of the bidding will be done, or Thursday, all of the bidding will be done, to a text. And everybody that's on this committee has been sharing it, the chamber's sharing it. So if anybody needs to, they can get a hold of me and I can get you the link or whatever. They're also doing a Support Your Local Restaurant Day, which is November 18th. because like Nick said, this has been a fun year for everybody, and I know the chains are the one there to better than the local mom and pop places. So the chain will put together a national support your local restaurant day for us. And the only other thing that they're doing is Small Business Saturday, which is November 20th. Dog shops up Jefferson, and again, this is all up in the air. We don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow, let alone 2 weeks from now. So, does anyone else have anything before we? Yes.
Just in relation to the Small Business Saturday, well, it'll be passed next week. There'll be free parking on Jefferson Avenue for all of those small businesses from Thanksgiving onwards. So, should we go to Small Business Saturday and try to, like free parking until January 1st on Jefferson Avenue, not in front of the courthouse because that's, but everywhere else, we're looking for free parking.
The parking area, I can take a break.
Oh, I guess, sorry, free parking for an hour, so that way we can still have people coming in, because last time someone decided to park a vehicle there for 2 weeks, and said, hey, it's for sale. So it's all free parking, so what are you gonna do? So someone abused that, so yes, there will still be a parking.
A time limit.
It's for an hour, but you can just go, hey, go to this store for an hour, and then move your car. To another store for an hour. But yeah.
That guy at Mount
Always
Vernon,
goes for a reason.
Exactly.
He's kind of.
Someone always has to read.
he takes his job a little too serious. He likes it. He loves his authority.
Hi, Dorothy.
Hello.
Hi, Dorothy.
Hello.
Okay, at this time.
Well, thank you very much. I always appreciate the opportunity to talk to a club. Most of what I tell you is going to focus on the Innovative Clubs Initiative. And there's a reason for that, and I will explain. But I want to start out, and Ashley, you've heard a lot of this. There are clubs in our district who are bringing in members at a really aggressive pace. And Karen said something, that she's doing something that's right in line with how they're doing this. And they are being very intentional. Buchanan has brought in 5 people since July 1. That's a lot in a club that size. Weston has brought in 8 people. Bridgeport is in a competition. I was in Bridgeport yesterday, inducted their 2 newest. That brings them, they started the year at 16. They're now 27. And there were 2 people in the room who were coming up to be inducted. Bridgeport got inspired by Kingwood. And I talked about Kingwood and Grafton last year a lot because they made major changes in their clubs and it paid off. And Brad Ford, who is the president of Bridgeport, I thought, I have never seen Brad at one of my trainings. How? Because Brad made the comment to the district governor, I'm sick of hearing about Kingwood and I'm going to beat them. So, last week I spoke to Kingwood, last Tuesday night. And I thought, well, you know, this is an opportunity. And I told them about Bridgeport. And I said, you know, apparently Bridgeport was inspired by you guys and Brad Ford. When I said Brad's name, there were hoots and hollers. I did not know that Brad had a couple of very good friends in Kingwood. And in fact, one of them, the family's going to the beach together. Oh, so Brad was getting the Kingwood story straight from the horse's mouth. And I said, you know, Brad says he's going to beat you. Well, Kingwood is now fired up, so you know, you look for your opportunities where you can. But all of those clubs, you know, if I explained what each club has done, it's nothing terribly out of the ordinary, except they have defined what they're doing. They have defined who they want to be, how they want to appear in the community. And they have all gotten way more active. They've got projects. They've gotten more active, more visible in the community. So now what is happening, just like Sharon is doing now, they're starting to attract people. And when they do invite someone, there's a lot going on in the club to talk about. And it's just working. In spite of COVID, in spite of, not having a lot of people in the room, this isn't unusual. They're still going forward and doing things. So the best tool I have is to share success stories. That's been proven over and over again. And it's not so much doing exactly what another club is doing, but getting ideas. Now, I'm the district membership chair. I am also on the Innovative Clubs Committee. It's important that you know what we're doing and why we're doing it. And it's also important that you know, because there are pieces of this that can really benefit our more traditional clubs. And we're learning as we go, and we are learning a lot. The Innovative Clubs Committee came down from Rotary International through the zones. We are a zone committee, not a district committee. We have, partially because of COVID and having gone to online training soon, we have more support than we have ever had. I have 2 meetings a month. I had one yesterday. It's for district membership chairs, but there are often district governors there. That's a zone meeting. And there are 17 districts in our zone. Well, you can imagine the sharing that goes on. It is not totally presentational. In fact, it's usually about half sharing ideas. Zone is doing a phenomenal job of supporting us, and it's better than it's ever been because it's more frequent. And we get to talk to all these other people. And we have a once a month Innovative Clubs call where we're doing the same thing. The Innovative Clubs is pure and simple, an effort to stand up new clubs that are different. So why are we doing this? The first thing that usually comes to your mind is, wait a minute, we have enough trouble getting members. We're looking at people in situations who will probably never be a member of a traditional club. Not always, though. Well, we realize there will be some overplay, but I don't think much. We are looking at structures that are much more flexible. Rotary has done years of research. We know, I'm happy to see some of you in this room, but we know in order to go forward and to grow and continue, we have to be more attractive to Generation X and the millennials. And there are some real differences in what they want and in their life reality. So that's one reason that we are looking at different kinds of clubs, different structures. Now, while there are some issues in both of those groups in terms of the 4 meeting a month meals kinds of clubs, and there are people who can do it, there are also some huge advantages in that they still want to give back to the community. They want to be involved. They want personal interaction. And they tend to be passionate about certain things. So, Innovative Clubs, what is it? Well, there are several categories that I'm not going to talk about. Rotaract, I'll touch briefly on satellite in a minute. But probably the biggest area are cause-related clubs. This is new. We're just getting our feet wet. We need it. It's Veterans Day. Our biggest initiative, and the one that we're probably furthest along on, are Veterans Club. The And those are clubs that would be made up of veterans and of people who work on veterans issues or are in some way very supportive. And those clubs would focus obviously on veterans issues. Those have been formed in some other districts. Now, nobody's way ahead here, but we do have some, and they tend to be pretty successful. Probably one of the easiest ones to get going. We're in a state with a huge number of veterans. In the southern part of the state, where we only have tiny clubs, I mean, we have clubs in the south that have 6 to 12 members, and that's pretty much it. They have not grown in a long time. We think these clubs may be very helpful. They won't look like a typical club. They will probably have one meeting a month, probably on Zoom. Maybe not. They may come together. Veterans are a group that do want support and interaction. They need that. We don't know yet if we will end up with a veterans club that is district-wide, in which case there probably would be online, or if we're going to be able to do several regional ones. Again, it's a work in progress. We are now, there's a form on the website, Rotary District 7545, for people to sign up to Cane today. People who are interested. So we're working on an ag-based goal. Now, that was totally our idea. We didn't get that from anybody else. It might work, it might not. This is a state where the Department of Agriculture has for some time been pushing niche producers because we don't have the topography to have any one big crop. There are a lot of niche producers in this state, and there's a lot going on within that community in terms of infrastructure, storage, distribution. Many things are coming together. Might work, might not. We are in the process of setting up a satellite club. Satellites come under this. In the western end of Monongalia County, that would be under Morgantown Rotary because they've been working in schools out there for years. Very cohesive communities, Blacksville, 100, that whole area core, and we think we can do this one. That will be under Morgantown. I'm saying it's a satellite. It may stay under Morgantown forever. That'll be up to them. Or if it gets to 20 people, you need 8 to make a satellite under a club. If it gets to 20, then they can charter if they want to. They don't have to. Now, I'm going to get into a couple of things that, well, first, you know, I didn't really tell you why we're doing it. I see the numbers from 17 districts, up close and personal, all the numbers. There is one district out of those 17 that is making gains. They're doing it by setting up new clubs. Every other, I think there's one that just, you know, the positive side. The rest of us are losing members. Between July 1, 2015 and June 30th of this year, a 5-year period, we lost a net of 175 people. We are not by far the worst of those 17 districts. The districts go from about central PA down through Georgia. So kind of the central part of the East Coast. You know, we're kind of in the middle. And oddly enough, Rotary has been pushing change since 2016. There have been a lot of changes, and those changes have worked. The clubs that have adapted and said, okay, we need to do this differently, whatever. There have been a variety of moves. Usually it's to be more flexible and more affordable. They have gained members. It's the clubs that are just consistently losing over the long term that we have not been able to overcome. So Rotary looked and knew and understood that much of what they were doing was working, and more of it. Some clubs we will never get to do what needs to be done, and we will lose some. They were talking about a district yesterday that lost something like 12 clubs in a 3 or 4 year period. We've never had that issue, but we could. Standing up the new clubs that are more flexible are a way to grow and B, a way to ensure your future, because we will need, we know that. So that's why this whole thing is happening. Now, let me throw out some ideas. And I will tell you that any idea I give you originated in the brain of a Rotarian somewhere. We need your brain. We need you to think. You're the people on the ground in this community, so you are the ones to best know what might work here if you think you want to do something. There's a woman who is a past district governor in North Carolina. She's a hoot. Former beauty queen, former sports sideline announcer. She's out there. And she's not afraid to do whatever and to make it creative and different. She's now bigger area to choose from, but she started calling all the terminated members or contacting them in our area. And she put together a passport club. And she started it in a gas station bar. And she showed us a picture. I said, wow. It's a gas station, convenience store, and there's about 4 high top tables. And that's where they started. And they met there for a few months. They met once a month. A passport club has no project. They take part in other Rotary clubs projects. They support other clubs in the area. And so 2 or 3 men go in this direction one day, and some go, and they can go to the Rotary Club meeting. It's just kind of a fun way to take part when you can take part, to meet more people, to kind of have a wider impact. Now, yesterday, 2 people had to get off the call early. This was the innovative clubs, because they had their second Zoom meeting. They had sent out right around 4,000 emails to 4,000 terminated members, again, a more populous area, in their district, 4,000 members who had been terminated over the last 10 years. And they were doing the same thing. They already had 1 Zoom meeting, they had about 40 people. And so they were having the second organizational meeting to set up another passport. Now, I just think those have great application. I think paying attention to our terminated members is really a smart thing to do. I was at Bridgeport about 3 weeks ago when Dave Coop inducted 3 new people into Bridgeport. 2 of them were former Bridgeport Rotarians. And I talked to them, and they said, well, A, the club changed drastically. They like what the club is doing now. They meet once a month in person, once a month virtually, and they have a project once a month. So they're more active. But they said the other thing is our lives changed. They said we can come now. And we really were having trouble being there. And judging by their age, I'm guessing kids are out of the house. That's all. So those terminated members, there's potential. They were Rotarians for someone. If you can offer them something different, you may get them back. Now, Ashley, on the call, on the training you were on, I talked a lot about alternate time groups. The Innovative Clubs Committee wants to get at least 4 of those started this week. It's a group. It is not a club. It is part of your club. It is simply looking around your community for the people who would like to be Rotarians, but for whatever reason, they work in Wheeling. They work in the school system. they cannot get to your meeting at this time. Grafton set one up September of 2019, very successful. They focused on the school system because they work in the school system a lot, but there are other people in there. And they have a chair, they don't have a president. And the chair is on the board of the, I'll call it the mother club. Now, they can't really come to your meeting, they're part of your club, but I know that in Grafton, they've often, some of the leaders are close to the evening. And those are typically evening groups because that's when they can meet. Think about this. Now, this came out of my head last night because I'm going to speak to a club later in the month that has attendance issues, the larger club, and has faced stagnation. Large clubs are tougher, I think. I know that there are people they haven't seen in ages whose circumstances have changed and they can't get to their club. They might be able to do an evening. I know they have a lot of terminated members who maybe dropped out because a lunch meeting was tough. They could easily find 2 or 3 members within the club, I think, who they never see, but they still pay their dues, so something's keeping them there, to start an alternate time group in the week. I think they could find 2 or 3 terminated members who could do that and would want to. And let those people grow the club from there, bringing in new people. We have a wealth of options that we don't really think about because Rotary used to be so structured. And Rotary International they've just thrown the structure out the window. They want us to be innovative, to come up with ideas, to do new things. And I will tell you that they are still changing. I'm told there was an October board meeting for Rotary International where more changes were approved. We really, I think at the club level, have been running to keep up with what has become a very progressive leadership. So there's some ideas. I think there are wonderful collaborations to be had once we get some cause-related clubs especially up. My husband is a Rotarian. He's having a conversation with another member of our club who's really into rivers. We're thinking about a pristine rivers club that would focus on, and you all probably, you know this, the amount of plastics that are going into our rivers. It's a problem. It would be probably a big educational program. I've planted the seeds for a social justice club, cause-related club. There are 2 men in Morgantown Rotary who have instituted a social justice committee, I guess, in their church. They're both well placed to start it rolling in Rotary. And again, this won't be really quick. In Virginia, they just started a peace club. I think most of you know, I think there are 7 peace centers at universities around the world that are Rotary sponsored now. Peace is a big part of Rotary. And that one's interesting. It has a lot of its affiliations. And Rotary, just in the last few months, added the environment as another area of focus. There are environmental clubs. That's a wide area. It has to be narrowed down some. But I think you can see that there are many, many options to start clubs that are focused on a specific area. Although we need some new Rotary clubs. I know you guys tried with Cameron, they're not easy, I
But you know,
know.
and that might be, as you're building these satellite clubs, Cameron would probably still be there. I think they weren't ready
Yeah,
because they were all, none of them were, they were all new to Rotary. And they weren't ready to just take it or run with it. So when somebody from here wasn't going there anymore, they just kind of fell apart. If we had continued on the satellite.
and see, Sharon, here's something, somebody said to me, well, it was the district governor. So what's the difference between starting a satellite and an alternate time group? And I said, well, it's intent. It's what you intend it to be. But the truth is, there isn't a difference. We're starting the group under Morgantown Rotary as, we're calling it a satellite because we know how independent minded that area is. They have to have the option to go off on their own. They will never do it, but they need the option. And that's just a mindset thing. But you know what? You could start another Cameron that is an alternate time group. They're a part of you. They have
You're
a,
making me have heart
what's that?
You're making me have heart palpitations.
Well, but it doesn't have to be very big. But you know, that model is more secure.
Well, because when they were a satellite club, there were a couple of us that would go out and do the meeting. And then there's nothing. They come to the meeting and we talk about, this is what we're doing, what can we do in Cameron? They talk about what they could do in Cameron. There were no responsibilities, you didn't have membership, didn't have to do a fundraiser. I mean, like all these things, they could enjoy the benefits of being in Rotary without having the hassles.
Wasn't Megan president of that?
Yeah, my daughter was president
Yeah,
for a
I
while.
thought so, yeah.
They just didn't have, I guess, the responsibilities of
Yeah.
being a club. And since they were new to Rotary, they didn't, like, Rotary is in us, but it wasn't in them.
Exactly.
But yeah, not me, but.
Yeah, they never have to
We had some
leave.
good members.
We have some really good members.
Oh, yeah.
If there was a way for them, and the funny is, they don't want to come in here. It's a heck of a drive.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, but there still are people out there that are, like, we're with people, everything we do. I know he follows everything we do on Facebook.
Well, you can set them up
Very
differently.
active.
You know,
And see, I think,
Well,
Yeah.
What, 96?
Yeah.
well, I'll tell you one thing, Charlie was active until,
Well, Bill hasn't been active.
oh, really?
Yeah, it's just,
Oh, I mean, that.
it's not as slow for Rotary or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we hit right in, yeah, it was just a tough time. But I wanted to ask you though about how really and like environmental, and I think this is a really interesting concept, a way to get people there. I think Rotary International they just saw that we got to change or we're not going to be here.
yeah, the numbers
So
just
you got to go with whatever's good now. So I wonder if you were talking about an environmental club. So could you have like an environmental group that's under? I don't want to do this. Okay, this is an idea. It's under Moundsville Rotary, but there would be a satellite or whatever.
Yes.
And maybe their focus would be on, there's no recycling in this area. Is that what you're saying they would do? Or that?
Well, we could set up cause-related clubs, get 20 people together, and they are their own club from the get-go. Or a cause-related club like the Ag Club, if we can get that going, that might get incubated under my club. And, we have to, that one probably needs to be more statewide. So we have to be willing to let those numbers go if that's the best model for the club. But just turning them loose from the beginning can be problematic too. Somebody's got to stay with them because there's too much about Rotary that they have to learn. Now, my point is, when we're doing these, even if it's just an alternate time club, you've got to give them some leeway in when they meet, you know, how often they meet. They may look a lot different than you do, but still be under you. Because we are learning quickly that in younger age groups, 4 times a month meeting, it's just not the fit. They want more projects, they want to meet less, do more. They want more affordable and just more flexible. But yeah, don't look for rules. I mean, you can make this stuff up. You really can.
When we started the Cameron Satellite Club, we actually didn't need clubs officially at all. I'm good. But yeah, I mean, this is a great time to do this because Rotary just wants people. They just want to survive.
Well, and I'll tell you what,
Could be.
yes. They have made the point recently that with COVID, there is nowhere in this world that we aren't going to have more to do on this. And they want the focus on projects and less on meetings. And you have to admit that COVID has handed us a wonderful tool. Not that Zoom wasn't there, but we would not have gone to it. You know, most of our clubs are still primarily baby boomers who weren't being on a computer. So, you know, not that it's hard, but yeah, we've got people doing Zoom, but by necessity.
You just said something that we were talking earlier before the meeting about how are we going to get new members? What do people want from Rotary? And you said it when you said the Rotary said that because of COVID, there's more to do, not less. And there is the reason. If you find people out there that want to help and to get them to understand it, now there's more to do than ever.
Oh, yeah.
And we really need you to join us.
One of the things I brought up to, if you remember, I brought up to the district governor when he was on via Zoom is obviously one of the projects that Rotary International does is end polio now and COVID now. It'd be nice to start up a project of end COVID now. Well, I mean, that's like, you know, that would motivate people to get involved. You know, obviously, you know, we're in a situation right now where we need vaccines and stuff. Obviously, when the vaccine comes out, we can, it's just an idea project to end COVID now to motivate people to come and help out and try to end this terrible pandemic.
Yeah. You know, there were 5 things that new clubs should look at. Are they ticking the boxes? More flexible, more affordable, purpose-driven. And that doesn't mean you have to be totally a cost-related club. The clubs that are really expanding in membership, they've defined their purpose. I noticed that I started calling them. And, you know, what's going on? Why are you getting so many new members? Nobody hesitated because they had decided what they were going to be, what they were going to look like in the community, and what they were going to do. None of these were accidents. What did I say? Relevant. Need to be relevant. And, you know, sometimes we're going on doing the same old thing over and over when we are in a really new situation. And personal. So thank you so much. Remember that I need information. I need to know what you're doing. Send me an email. When something good happens, tell me. Because I'll tell everybody else.
Would you like Brianna to send you on your side?
That'd be
Yeah,
fine.
she sends one every week. So.
Yeah, put me on your list.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have anything?
Yes.
Board meeting, you mean? That we really had like an actual board
Yeah,
meeting.
We need to sit around and just talk and brainstorm and.
Yeah.
Okay, if nothing else, guys, we'll
Adjourn the meeting. Bye, guys.
thanks. Bye. Bye, Dora.
Bye.
Thank you.
Move it now.